Can you hear me now? Oh God. I should have checked my tech. See, that's how what do you call it? That's how choppy my podcasting skills have become. Okay, we're probably not going to post this on other platforms, but can you guys hear me now? I'm so sorry. Maybe I'll have to delete this and start again. Isabel, thank you for waiting. Here I am going off. Oh God, this is so fun. Okay, all right. So, not only did you see me practice in public, you saw me fail in public, and that's okay. We fail sometimes, and that's that. Okay, excellent. So, I guess we have to start from scratch. Okay, the 11 minutes of monologue that you missed, Anu and Isabel, thank you for being here. I so appreciate it. And I'm so sorry that I didn't check the chats earlier because I was like looking at the marker here and it said nobody's here, so I thought I was just talking to myself, but apparently more people are watching. I apologize. I apologize to the big boo boo. So let's start from scratch. Welcome to the Prashha Dutra show. This is Prashha Dutra, who forgot to turn on her mic, so you couldn't hear her for the first 11 minutes. However, I think we have it under control now, and I'm ready to reshare what I just said. So welcome to the show. I'm Prashha Dutra. I'm a chemical and a mechanical engineer. I moved to the US 12 years ago. I have a TEDx talk, a 21-month-old baby, a full-time career coaching business, and I've been featured on platforms like Forbes, and I was also on TV for a little segment. And so I've done a bunch of cool things in the last 12 years. I live in the smallest state in the US, and I am extremely passionate about helping women believe in their brilliance, and particularly women in STEM, women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. All this started because I had a podcast called Her STEM Story. Some of you have probably heard it, some of you have not heard it. If you haven't, go check it out. But then I started another podcast called Daily Brilliance Voice Notes, which was for my clients. And then I started another one called Believe in Your Brilliance. So now I'm bringing all of them together under one name, The Prashha Dutra Show. I had a lot of imposter syndrome starting the show because I wasn't sure if I'm worthy of having a show with my name on it, because I'm like, who wants to know about me? And I always made it about other people, and it's still about you guys. It's not about me. However, the show has my name because I want to tell you the stories that I'm telling everybody else. I want to share with you things I'm learning every single day. I want to share with you how you can elevate your identity and become the better version of yourself so you can accomplish the biggest goals that you have for yourself. And I want to share with you the knowledge that I have in every way, shape, or form, which might help you and might be very, very relevant to you as well. So, yeah, so that's what this show is all about. And the other thing I was saying when I was on mute, when you couldn't hear me, was why are there two H's in my name? If somebody can tell me in chat, if you know the story, I would love to know if you know why I have two H's in my name. But I'll be happy to share, especially to people who have known me from my past life in terms of like school and stuff. It's like, what's happening to her spelling? What's happening to her name? So my original name is Prashha Sarvate. My maternal name, my husband's last name is Dutra. He is not a Punjabi. He is as Italian as they come, and it's a Portuguese last name. So that's Prashha Dutra. And then last year, I was having like the toughest year of my life. I remember like it was really, really hard financially, physically, mentally. My baby was really small, and I was just going through a lot of anxiety. And I came across numerology. And in July 2023, I consulted a numerologist, and he asked me to add an extra H. And I played with the spelling for a bit, and now I'm kind of settling on it. And so all this to say is that I try to balance the feminine and the masculine in everything I do. What does that mean? So masculine is tactics, logic, all the scientific stuff. Feminine is all the other stuff that we can't explain all the time. And as much as I believe in myself and believe in every single tool that I'm going to share with you and teach you and talk about, I also believe in astrology. Like, okay, sue me. I also believe in numerology. Sue me. Don't sue me. But I do believe that there are certain things that we don't need to understand, and it helps me. It helps my anxiety. It helps my mind. It helps me in so many ways, and I'm able to use it in a positive way. So I love it. So that's why I have an extra H in my name. And if you're against those tools, please feel free to unsubscribe. I probably won't be the right coach for you, anyways. But if you are someone who's okay with the duality, if you're okay with, oh, she believes in this and also this and also this, but and again, on top of it, I believe the most I believe in is myself, but I believe in all these other things too, because they help me increase my confidence, they help me increase my motivation, and they help me increase my self-esteem, so I use it. So to each his own, but that's what the H is all about, and it's probably going to stay. Okay, so again, I said it to someone, I was saying I believe in myself the most. I also believe in science. I also believe in God. And I also believe in all the woo woo wah stuff sometimes. But none of that stops me from putting in the hard work, showing up, learning new things, accepting my mistakes, trying new things, working with different types of people, improving my skill set. Like, it's not an excuse to hard work. It's not an excuse to take shortcuts. It's simply a tool that helps me guide my helps me guide me in those tough times. So that's the whole idea behind it. And again, I come from India, so these kind of things are more popular there than they are in the West. But I also know a lot of people in the West who read horoscopes. So yeah, that's that. I think we all read horoscope. That's a guilty pleasure. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't read their horoscope. But yeah, that's the story behind the age, and it kind of tells you a little bit about my personality if you don't know me yet. But yeah, I am probably the most accessible, most generous, most transparent person. So in on this show, I'm going to be bringing you my own stories. I'm going to be bringing you my clients. I'm going to be bringing you the stories of how people have transformed through my program. I'm also going to be bringing you some key elements of my program so you can have it for free. Like, have it, like, have at it. And if you need my help to do it by your side, we'll do it together inside the program. And then I'll also bring some guests. Like, I have some really cool friends from Instagram, from LinkedIn, very cool career coaches, very popular, very big names in the industry. I'll bring them on the podcast. I'll also bring my friends and people from my personal life if they're willing to come. I have a few in mind, and we're gonna have some really great conversation. And the whole point of all of this, which you missed when my microphone wasn't working, the whole point of this is to help you feel seen, heard, and understood. I feel like those are three things women don't get. Like, we are not heard, we don't feel seen, and we don't really feel understood. And I think through everything we do, whether it's the 200K job or the business or the titles or the TEDx or the personal brands, I feel like we're all just trying to feel those three things. We want to be seen, heard, and understood. And if this show can do that for you by answering the questions that you've always had on your mind, by answering the doubts that you've always had in your mind, by sharing the things that we feel on a daily basis so that you feel normal. Like, for example, what happened in the first 12 minutes of this podcast is a great example of that. Like, I I hope that makes you feel seen, because I'm sure you've been on an interview where your microphone was off. And that tells you you're not stupid, you're just human. I'm a human, you're a human, and we're all in this together. So those are three things I want to achieve for women, because those are three things I want for myself too. I want to be seen, heard, and understood. So if we can help you feel that, then the intent of this show is exactly that. Okay. And this inspiration actually came from a call I had a few days ago with someone. At the end of the call, she didn't join my program, but one thing she told me was, Prashha, this conversation made me feel seen, heard, and understood. And that is the biggest gift I've gotten in the last 10 years. And there's so many women out there who struggle with that because their partners don't get them, their friends don't get them, their families don't get them, their kids don't get them. Their managers don't get them, their colleagues don't get them, and they just feel so lost and so alone, in a very busy life. And so I want to change that for you. And that's what this show is going to be. So right now we're doing Wednesday noon Eastern, but we might change the timing. If you guys want me to change it, please tell me. I want to have a conversation. I want to have a chat. I want to keep them as low on production as possible. And sometimes I might not even turn my microphone on. But that's the whole point of this show. And it's all dedicated to you guys, even though it has my name on it. It is all about you, and it's all about helping you believe in your brilliance. That's That's what I do. That's what I'm good at. That's what I was put on this planet to do. And I'll continue to do that. I just have two jobs. I have to believe in my brilliance and help others believe in theirs. That's it. If I can do those two things, then I've served my purpose on this planet, and I hope to I hope to do it in a bigger setting through this show and reach more people on LinkedIn, reach more people on podcasting platforms, and just help more women again become their most brilliant self, one episode at a time. And don't be surprised if you catch a couple of them. So we're going to have a lot of conversations. We're also going to have a lot of trainings. We're also going to answer a lot of your questions. So keep tuning in. I promise next time the microphone will be on. It was just a big boo because I was so excited to talk to you guys that I forgot to connect it. And I also forgot to check in. Just the basics. You could tell I've been podcasting for 4 years. Oh, no big deal. So anyways, anyone has any questions for me before we wrap up the intro episode? It's just an introduction, by the way. The guests and everything starts from next week, so stay tuned. Everything will be updated on LinkedIn. You'll see announcements. You'll see reminders, and all those cool things will be happening. But I kind of just wanted to do this. And one thing I was saying to my Instagram followers, and also when we were not audible, is that I love to do things on an impulse. I'm an impulsive person, and I have controlled my impulses a lot in a lot of areas of my life, because as I'm getting older, there's more risk to be impulsive. But then this show has been on my mind for a while, and people I know wanted me to do a lot of preparation, a lot of things, and a lot of like X, Y, and Z. And I know there's so many better ways to do this. I could have done longer promotions. I could have done better trailers. I could have gotten a brand new photo shoot. I could have done so many things to make it perfect. But this was that creative project, which I think was my impulsive outlet. So I'm doing it in an impulse, but with a vision. So I never do something on impulse just because. I do it because I have a long-term vision for it. And that vision drives me to get started today in the most imperfect way. And then just keep going from there. Okay. So if you're sitting on something for a while, this is your permission to be impulsive and do it. And it's always worked out for me, knock on wood. I quit my job on an impulse. I married my husband on an impulse. I moved countries on an impulse. I've done a lot of things on an impulse, and they've all turned out fine because that's the kind of person I am. But this show is also part of that, and that's part of my creative process. If you ask me, I love being impulsive. That's how I channel a lot of my creativity and a lot of my energy. So anyways, that's the reason why it's not like highly produced with like a lot of things in it, because I'm a mom and I don't have time for it. Okay. So we're going to keep it raw. We're going to keep it natural. We're going to keep it like fun. We're going to keep it sometimes messy. It's fine. As long as the content has the value that you're looking for, and as long as you walk away feeling heard, seen, and understood. That's all I care about. Okay. So with that, that's all I had for this episode. And just want to introduce myself. I apologize for the first 12 minutes. But that being said, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat and I would love to answer them. And anyone has any questions, then from next time onwards, I'll definitely keep my chat on. Awesome. Does anyone have any specific questions around career, confidence, clarity, 200K jobs, like all these cool things that we do here at Believe in Your Brilliance Academy, and also now at the Prashha Dutra Show. So, all right, awesome. I don't think there are any questions. And I honestly don't know how to fix this feed on LinkedIn. So people will probably hear me talk to myself for like 12 minutes and then we'll fix it. But I will fix it on the podcasting platforms. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys being here and staying with me for this entire 25 minutes. But from next week, you will see guests, you will see trainings, you'll see a lot of cool stuff. So pay attention to your LinkedIn feed. I'll be sharing all about the next few episodes soon. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and bye-bye. Oh, let's see. Did we get a question? Oh, what's your why? Okay, we got a question. Sorry. Look, I'm just so new to podcasting, it seems. Anu said, "What's your why for starting a podcast, Prashha?" So I've always had a podcast. Podcast was the way I started my journey. I started my brand through podcasting, and I'll tell you the story on where it began. So I've always been an English orator. I was actually the given like the best English orator title when I graduated high school. I was a debate on debate teams. I was the talker. Okay, so everybody used to say, "Shut up, Prashha. Shut up. Don't talk. Don't talk. Don't talk." Like I was just like such a chatty person, and I always thought it was my weakness. I always thought talking was my weakness, when in reality it was my strength. And you know who told me about that? It was funny how I figured out. I always thought it was a bad thing that I talked a lot. And then I was volunteering for an organization called the Pancreatic Cancer Action Network. If you don't know it, you should check it out. I lost my dad to pancreatic cancer. So I was supporting this organization as a volunteer. And then they asked me to be their social media person, like I was their representative. So I went to on TV shows to promote it. I went on local TV shows. I went on a local radio program to promote the event that they have every year. So I was on this radio show with this guy, and I think his name was Kevin, if I'm not wrong. And we had like a nice 30-second, 60-second segment on that show. And as soon as that was done, he told me, he's like, "Prashha, you have really good voice. You should be on radio." And I was like, "What?" Like that was the paradigm shift. Him just complimenting it, I took it very, very seriously. I know I took it so seriously that I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't like stop thinking about this idea that this one thing that I know I can do, this is my zone of genius. I know I can do it. I never thought it was my zone of genius. I thought it was just a problem to everybody. Nobody wanted to hear from me, and everyone wanted me to shut up. In fact, my dad's last words to me in person were, "Shut up," because I was talking so much. And so I always thought it was my weakness because that's how I was raised. That's what I was told, that it is not a good thing. You shouldn't talk. As girls, you should not. As a girl, you shouldn't talk this much. And so when Kevin said that, I just thought, holy Christ, like, come on, like, this is amazing. And that's what got me started in podcasting. And again, it was all very random. Like, I just thought of the name and built the page and started the show without a guest, just like I did today. I did 7 years ago. I did my first episode. I had no guest, and I was getting ready for it. And I had to beg one of my mentors to let his daughter be on the show, and he said okay. I had no social media. I knew nobody. It was crazy how I did it. I asked 31 of my friends to be on the show. Everyone ghosted me. Nobody came on the show. Then the second guest I did was my intern who was working for me. I said to her, "Please, please be on the show." And she said no. And I said, "You're going to be on the show. It's your assignment." So she was on the show. And then her friend was on the show. And that's how I kind of built it. And it was so much fun to meet all these STEM women over the years. And still, I haven't interviewed a real like school friend or college friend because they just won't come on the show. I don't even think they know that I have podcasts and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got into podcasting. And then I did a public speaking engagement, and I got paid for it. And that's the day I told my mom. I called her. I said, "Listen, I'm going to be a millionaire because somebody paid me for talking." And she couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe somebody would give me $1,200 to give a talk. And so yeah, that's the journey I'm on. I hope to be on stages one day. I hope to inspire millions of people. And I hope, of course, to become a millionaire as well, because that's my personal goal. But that being said, that's what podcasting is for me. It's one of my zone of geniuses. I love doing it. It doesn't mean I'm a genius at it. It just means that when I do it, time stops and I can keep doing it. Okay. So I love it. I love it as much as I love coaching. But that's how it started. It started on a whim. There was no thought to it. There's not a lot of intention to it, but there was a lot of love in it. And the only intention was to have fun and to meet great people. And I think it has served that purpose in Anu. Like we are together. Like I know you because I started a podcast on impulse 7 years ago. So, so that's how I started. And now just bringing that whole universe together because it was so scattered. And of course, as a mom, I don't have time to run 4 podcasts and do all these different things. So I'm just trying to streamline everything in my life. And that's what this show is all about. The Prashha Dutra show is all about streamlining and bringing all of those different conversations under one platform so that it's easier for you guys to consume and it's easier for me to produce. But yeah, that's my love story with podcasts. Thanks for asking, Anu. Awesome. I'll give everyone 2 more minutes before I say my goodbyes one more time. And chances are I won't post this episode on iTunes because it had so many glitches. But that's okay. Mm, yeah, practice in public, fail in public, learn in public, and then maybe one day you will win in public. That's the lesson here. Awesome, awesome. Isabel, if you're still here, if you have any question, let me know in chat. Um, but yeah, this was fun. This was so fun, especially because that microphone didn't work. I loved it. It was hilarious. Ah, okay. Okay. I think there are no more questions. Thanks for asking, Anu. And I'm glad I was able to share my podcasting story with all of you. But until next week, thank you so much for tuning in. I promise next week we'll have the microphone on from the get go. Please follow us on LinkedIn, follow me on LinkedIn, and then once the show is live on all podcasting platforms, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. And again, thank you so much. I'm so glad to have these